The landmine press is one of the most underrated pressing variations of all time. Right now I'll be sharing with you guys the benefits, regressions, progressions, along with the techniques, so let's get into it. The landmine press, along with its variations, have a multitude of different benefits. First being that it's easier to remain less hyperextended to press quote unquote overhead. Got the neutral grip, thick handle component, which is great for shoulder health, less spinal compression, and obviously you got the anti-rotation for extra core strength due to the landmine. Speaking of the landmine, as far as the setup is concerned, take a barbell, stuff it in a corner, or if you happen to have a landmine station at your gym, simply put it there. But if you have a landmine station, make sure you put dumbbells on so it doesn't move around too much. Now, as you can see, I'm doing the landmine press right now, and I'm less hyperextended on this. It's way easier to quote unquote go overhead because there's not as much of a demand from a mobility standpoint. Now, as far as the regressions to progressions are concerned, I like to start people off with a half kneeling position. It's a lot harder to cheat, and it's a lot easier to maintain pelvis and ribcage positioning to be able to press quote unquote overhead. So this is kind of like a fake overhead press because there's not as much of a demand to get the weight overhead. So there's less complications. And once you get better at the half kneeling, you could do the tall kneeling. It's on two knees. Once you get better at that, you could use the split stance. So you want to be heavier on the back heel, and the other heel is more there for stability. And then you could eventually just start off using the square stance, which is a conventional stance on the landmine press. And if you happen to have the Viking press attachment, an awesome piece, you could use that as well. Now, as far as where your other hand goes, you could keep it on your rib cage to make sure the other rib cage isn't flaring too much. You could have it directly by your side, or you could even do more of an alternating position with the other hand where you roll one side and then you press the other side. So there's different kind of things you could do with the opposing hand. You don't just have to have it there in your pocket. You could actually use it to your advantage as well. Now, as far as the landmine pressing technique is concerned, we want to make sure we're not making these mistakes. A lot of people hyperextend the low back. This is a bit exaggerated, but you tend to see this a lot. And this could even be worse when certain people like this try to press overhead, because if you're doing this on a landmine press, there's no way you're not going to do it on a standard overhead press. But what you want to do is you want to tuck your pelvis, you want to feel a bit of hamstring, you want to feel your abs. So keep you more stacked, more in a tuck position, and you press them there. Secondly, we got anterior humeral glide. This is bringing the front delt too forward like you're doing a dip. So it's not the end of the world if you're doing it on a dip, but I wouldn't do it on a landmine press because it's just unnecessary range of motions. What you want to do instead is keep the fist close to the delt, but you don't have to touch the fist to the delt either. Another mistake is relaxing the hand on your upper chest. So you don't want to do this because one, the shoulder's internally rotated, and secondly, you're just relaxing. There's no tension there. As far as shoulder health is concerned, a lot of lifters don't reach on this exercise. They just press it up and down. But if you want to get the serratus anterior engaged in this exercise, you want to make sure you're reaching more. It doesn't have to be very excessive, but a slight reach could go a long way in really getting that serratus activated and engaged in the exercise to make it a lot more bang for your buck, so you could reap the shoulder health benefits. As far as rotating on the press, I'm personally not a big fan of it, especially for a lot of general population people who don't have a lot of full body awareness and a lot of time under the bar. So for most people, I recommend a split stance, square stance, whatever the case is, something that's going to help them maintain that rib cage and pelvis position a lot more without the rotation component. So there it is. That's the ultimate guide to landmine pressing. So keep in mind, every lift is simply a tool in the toolbox, and you use the tool for the appropriate job. So just know that you have landmine presses along with their variations at your disposal if ever you'll need them for maybe yourself, a friend, or for your client if you happen to be a coach. And also if you're looking for a detailed system that incorporates landmine pressing to a certain extent, be sure to check out the Silverback program, and I'll see you guys next time.